Jeff Koinange live at the Intercontinental Hotel here on this Inspiration Thursday. Although it's difficult to inspire a nation when 147 young lives have been snuffed out in a matter of hours. 1 week after the Garissa University College massacres, we're still talking. Because as I keep saying, we gotta keep talking. Because the moment we stop talking is the moment we start fighting. And the tweets coming in thick and fast. I'm here tonight with Ngunjiri Wambugu and Boniface Mwangi, and here Karogo Moredi says, someone called Reki. Bonnie saying it like it is, Ngunjiri putting some facts on emotions. Bonnie, you had a question before the break, go on.
So the question is, what is radicalizing our young people to go to Somalia or to become Al-Shabaab?
You're asking what is?
Yeah, the question is because if we respond, if our tactic is picking these young girls and killing them, it's not going to help. It means they go more underground and the Al-Shabaab get tools to radicalize these young people. We need to be able to offer them an alternative, because if I say my young brother or my sister is being radicalized and going to become a bride for the Al-Shabaab, if the government arrests this person, they need to find a way, ideological way to fight this battle. Because violence begets violence. At the end of the day, it's an endless cycle. If you look at the US, they send boots to Iraq, they send boots to Afghanistan, and eventually they had to withdraw and they lost the battle. What we need to do, actually, we need to be smarter than them.
Speaking of withdrawing, yes. Do we need to withdraw from Somalia?
Because we're selling charcoal. Kenya Army is selling charcoal in Somalia. We're selling sugar barrel. Sugar is coming through the border.
You're not answering my question.
Withdraw the troops, because we're not in the business of selling sugar and charcoal. So that's not the work we're supposed to do. If Kenya is not safe, what
do you have evidence?
There's a UN report that was published.
That says what? KDF?
KDF is involved in charcoal selling, and the money goes back to Al-Shabaab. So the other thing is, Kenya was hit not by Al-Shabaab directly, but by corruption, because corruption allowed those guys to come to Kenya. Corruption allowed that to happen. And the mastermind of the attack in Garissa was allowed via corruption to slip back into Somalia. So here we should be talking about terror. Yes, there's terrorism in this country, but there's corruption, because if this country was working, if the money that we pay taxes was working, it's very highly unlikely that people would be going to terrorism.
Okay, Ngunjiri, earlier on you alluded to the fact that we are too nice, and I agree with you for the most part. We have been too nice as a nation. We've got the largest refugee camp on the planet.
600,000.
600,000 in the dark, okay?
It's just...
Let me ask you this, and this is really what gets my goat. I was in Addis a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Addis. For years, for decades, they've been fighting Somalia. Remember, since Ogaden War, and then they were there fighting ICU in Mogadishu, and then they withdrew, but now they're part of Amazon. How come Ethiopia gets it when it comes to security? What is it about us that we are too soft to target, that we are too vulnerable, and they're not? And they've been fighting.
Because Ethiopia doesn't play. The Ethiopian government does not play. I mean, and the problem we have is that we have a government that is trying very hard to be a nice guy.
Yeah.
Really, governments are not supposed to be nice guys. And I say this with all...
How is the government playing nice?
Government is playing nice because, you see, you're telling us that they should supposed to be arresting terrorists and taking them to court and giving them bail and stuff like that. Let me tell you, you're saying, my problem with how we are dealing with terrorism is that you cannot deal with insurgency or with people who are actually coming to commit violence against you nicely. There's no way to deal with terrorists nicely. Think about whether, when you look at America, the greatest democracy in the world, had to open Guantanamo Bay in Cuba, and you see that's a jail.
That's a jail.
But what do they do in that jail?
That's what a bombing.
In fact, they've actually structured, not even waterboarding. You know what they've done? They've done serious propaganda. They have not stopped. They've done, and they will not stop. They've done serious propaganda. They've actually socialized Americans to accept that CIA is allowed to do bad things when they are. How have they done that? Programs like movies like 24, where you actually see CIA in fiction, waterboarding people. It socializes you. Why? Because they realize you cannot fight people who've come to blow themselves up, and you, in the usual ways that we have. The biggest threat, by the way, the biggest environment, the best environment that on which terrorism thrives is democracy. They know, terrorists know how to leverage democracy. In fact, look at every authoritarian country. Even China, when they blow somebody up, you never hear it happen again, because they'll go after you in every sense.
Even Charlie Hebdo.
Even in France.
They arrested some of the suspects and then caught. Let me tell you.
How did they arrest those guys? It's not about the guy they arrested.
The one with the gun is killed. That's for sure.
Yes.
If you hold a gun, you should be killed.
Okay, at least that one we agree with you.
That we agree.
Okay, nice.
I'm talking about people who are being brainwashed. We cannot kill every single person. We're going to have many dead bodies
but you can
all
have a
over.
deterrent.
Let me tell you, Bonnie, you don't kill everyone. Bonnie, you don't kill everyone. There's nowhere where you kill everyone. Even in every war, you don't kill everyone. You kill enough people for people to realize this doesn't work.
Are we here saying the government knows who the terrorists are and should be killed?
At least Duale told us he knows who they are.
So should we, because Duale is a terrorist, should he get killed?
What? We haven't said Duale is a terrorist.
He's an accomplice.
Let me ask you.
How do you want us? Okay, Bonnie, let me ask you a question. How do you want us to deal with terrorism?
Very simple. Informers, number one. Protect witnesses. There's a witness in Mombasa who was supposed to testify against a terror suspect. They tried to kill him the first time, they failed, and the second time they killed him. If you look at Mandera, the day before, in Garissa, the day before the attacks, there were attacks in the Dab where 2 people were killed or 3 people were killed across. And those guys who were killed had told the police about the plan. My problem with intelligence in this country, we offer intelligence to the police, they sell it to the terrorists. Because every single time there's a terror attack, there's no political responsibility. The president, when Lamu happened, promised that the people who filtered out intelligence are going to go to jail. There's no one in jail. So if you're going to blame the terrorists, which they should be blamed, they're bad people, they're cowards, should blame the police equally and the president as commander-in-chief who wears military fatigue.
Bonnie, let me give you one small example.
Yes.
Osama bin Laden, mastermind of 9/11, Nairobi attacks in 98, many other attacks. The intel that led to his being captured, we are told, happened in Guantanamo.
Yes.
When the Navy SEAL Team 6 was sent into Abbottabad.
Abbottabad did a guy. See, let's just call it.
I don't support torture. I do not support torture.
I do not. It's okay. Arrest him and bring him for trial in New York. He would have been a martyr.
But he had a gun. They said they tried to arrest him. He had a gun.
But did you actually believe they tried to arrest him?
They went in to take him out.
You don't sell special forces to go and arrest a guy.
No. But you see, that place is a life and death. You're going in blind. The same thing happened at Garissa. You need to come back. I need us to trace back our steps. And this is what I'm saying. Young people are being radicalized in Mombasa. There's no way you can go and kill every young person in Mombasa.
No.
There's no way you can go and kill every young person in Garissa or in the Dab. We need to engage those people. And then let's go back to refugee camps. I support refugee camps. Those guys are running away from terror. They're being killed in Somalia.
They're bringing it here.
Listen. We need to offer
running away from terror and bringing it here.
We need to offer them safe refuge and safe place to stay.
Number one, how long are we going to be the nice guy?
Guess what? The people who come here and bring you intel, if we protect some of those refugees, they'll point out that Al-Shabaab is in the camp. Because taking them back to Somalia is not going to help. Because one of the guys who bombed this country, and I want to begin for him with a name, was a Kenyan. And we have homegrown Boko Haram.
Of course.
So we can't blame Somalis or refugees for terrorism when we have someone like Makaburi who was Kenyan. Abdi Rogo was Kenyan. Some of the guys have been arrested for terror.
So you say it's okay that they got shot? You know they got shot, eh?
Who?
Akina Abdi Rogo, Akina Makaburi.
They were Kenyan, right?
Yes.
My point is, we can't say all terrorism is by Somalis. We have Kenyan Somalis, we have Kenyan Luos, we have Kenyan Kikuyus who have become terrorists.
Okay, take those camps to Ethiopia. Why don't you take the Dab to Ethiopia?
Actually, yes. Why don't people that come to Uganda to
take it there?
Those guys are going to
Kenya are very hospitable people. We're humane.
Exactly. That's why we're getting hammered.
But we're not being hammered because they're humane or hospitable or loving. We're being hammered because of corruption. Because if you paid, a police officer needs to be paid well because they're broke, they have family, they have starving kids at home, they have to pay school fees. Pay the police well, equip them very well, give them cars, treat them like the way they're supposed to be treated. Then they'll do their work.
I need to jump in there. Ethiopian police, Ugandan police are not paid any better than Kenyan police.
But so how come? But you're the most corrupt country in the world.
No. Bonnie, those guys are not paid Kenya better than our guys.
Our president is not as patriotic.
Oh, come on.
Listen. Let me tell you. If the president was patriotic enough, he's a rich man, you didn't need a salary. Those guys are Reki Squad need a salary. I'm talking about police salary. Let's address this because as long as you don't address the police salary, they'll keep on being corrupt and keep on getting bombed. The problem is corruption. And the day we start punishing corruption, this can start working. This country, we do not punish corruption.
We need to distinguish. We need to distinguish. We need to distinguish two things. Yes. We have terrorism on this side. We have corruption on this side.
Yes.
At certain points, they are bedfellows. But we have terrorism happening in countries where we don't have the same problem. And I'm telling you, Boni, we have a lot of African countries pay their policemen very badly.
Which country?
Ethiopia.
Which country in Africa has lost 600 people in the last 3 years? Which country? Through terror.
Okay, Boni,
country.
Let me ask you, which country in Africa has democracy like us?
South Africa.
Sure.
Boni, yes, it does.
Come on.
No way.
Botswana.
It's not happening.
Botswana, please. There's like 3 people in Botswana.
No, let's not be dismissive.
No, stop dismissing.
But you're trying to avoid, the two of you, a Koinange family, and a Ngunjiri person want to be a Nyeri MP. You two guys are trying to avoid.
You want to be what? Just want to be a politician?
No. If my wife allows me to do it, you guys are trying to avoid. The elephant in this room is corruption.
No. We're not avoiding it.
Corruption allows these things to happen.
We're not avoiding it.
If we punish corruption, if we punish the people who allow those terrorists to come to this country, it would stop. Let's start punishing corruption. Let's start.
No. I'm not refuting what you're saying.
Yes.
What I'm refuting, and this is the same problem I've had with CORD, trying to justify that the reason we are being attacked, that there's a reason why we are being attacked.
There's a reason.
No.
We have porous borders. Why are they porous? 50 bob allows you to come to Kenya.
Yes.
We have a porous border.
Admit.
And then...
Bonnie, okay, let me ask you this. And
yes, sir.
We know the narrative. We know those issues.
Yes.
Don't you think we are working on them? Don't you think
we're not.
Efforts?
Police reforms are being fought. We have a president who defies the courts and says those people should report to camp. Guess what the Boynet says? We make the laws, you should break the laws.
That's not Boynet, that was a Kater, my guy. Yeah.
Listen,
exactly.
No, he said those guys should report.
Yes, but he didn't say we make the laws and we break.
That's indirectly, because if Qatar the same mentality with Qatar is the same mentality in the government. We make the laws, let breaks them. So when the president breaks the law and defies the constitution, nobody defies the. Let me finish. Can I finish?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Defies the court, defies the law. When it takes over, how are we going to enforce the law? We're going to become a.
There's something I needed to point out. Yes. You know, our constitution actually gives President Uhuru Kenyatta and whichever president is going to come after him and came before him executive powers, executive orders. You know, Bonnie, the matter is in court. And it's not just him. Bonnie, it's not just him. It's actually nearly every president in the world. Even Obama, your buddy who's coming in July, that guy who's coming in July has executive powers. He vetoes bills in America that he doesn't agree with.
But you see, let's
talk.
When the matter goes to court, the same Obama, the challenge is the healthcare bill where in court.
Yes.
And what did he do? He sent his attorney general to Holder to go and represent him, right?
Yes.
And they followed the law. If the president has a problem with the court order, he goes to court. Because the moment you start defining court orders, you create anarchy. How am I going to respect the law if the president doesn't respect the law?
10,000 recruits showing up?
Because there's evidence. It was a shoddy recruitment. There was corruption involved. People bribed. And there's a possibility Al-Shabaab sympathizer, Gwale friends bribed to join the force. And we need to stop that. No, listen. It's in court, and the court says because of the irregularities, what's the big deal? Those cops who are going to go and report to Koinange tomorrow are not going to be available for the next 1 year. That's true. You know what the president could have done? Order fresh recruitment. Recruit people, they go and report. It's
but
much
you
easier.
have an injunction that says you can't do that.
Correct.
Listen, then wait, it's how many? It's May. It's being ruled.
But you don't know what's going to happen in May.
And if you have a crisis, and they are very patriotic, this country, the leaders that we have, the president, members of parliament, senators, reduce your bodyguards, send them to those places, because you're not going to tell me a recruit straight from Koinange is going to deal with Al-Shabaab. You need experience. Capedo happened because you sent inexperienced cops. So reduce VIP security, send them to go defend us. See, they love this country. You're serving this country. I haven't stolen anyone's money, right?
Okay, Bonnie, on that I agree with you, by the way. I don't actually understand why MPs and government leaders have police bodyguards.
Why?
Let's set up a private enterprise for private security.
Go and hire bodyguards.
Sort of like Sonkos.
Well, let's not go there. Let's not go there. So what I'm saying is we will need to sort out certain things. But the problem about running government, and part of the reason Bonnie sometimes gets very upset with me, he says I changed. I got into politics. Part of the reason why I changed is because I realized you can never get 100%.
Yeah.
In fact, if a government gets 60%, you're doing very, very well. And that's the problem. Yeah. And the problem about that is that there's no way, as Manoa said, you will never get this thing 100%. In fact, if you get it good, you're doing very well.
And Ngunjiri, at the end of the day, this president, you're damned if you do.
Oh, yeah.
You're damned.
You see, he's getting bashed because you don't have enough policemen.
Yeah.
And the reason you don't have enough policemen is because somebody went to court and stopped.
No, because of corruption and irregularities.
Yes, but you see, what I'm saying is you can't win.
You can't win.
You can't win this thing.
He can win. He's the president.
But that's what
the president doesn't have as much powers as the president.
Listen. If our president, I think our president lacks smart advisors. He does. He's surrounded by sycophants and guys who think hashtag is ruining this country. So they run this country using hashtags.
But they're your friends.
Yeah, those are your buddies.
No, just because I know Itumbi and he was a journalist and was a journalist doesn't mean that he listens to me or he talks to the president and on my behalf. He does not. And I'm not here to hold brief for Itumbi because Itumbi works for the government. I'm here as a Kenyan citizen. And I'm here to say that the president needs to listen to dissenting voices. The president needs to reach across the aisle, the same way he's reaching across the aisle when he talks to Raila Odinga and talk to Kenyans.
Would you want to advise him?
Civil society. I wouldn't mind for free. I don't even need money. I don't need anything. Let me tell you, there are people who are very critical. Maurice Owa, Kenyan Pandit Thinker, that's Orio Kolo, Konoda Kunga, Ruki Keigaturi. There are a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people out there who are extremely smart, extremely patriotic, willing to advise the government for free. Because the government needs advisors. It needs people who are not political, who have no political ambition. The president needs to decide right now, does he want a legacy or does he want just become president? Because legacy is important. He can entrench himself in our hearts. I would love to have an Uhuru t-shirt or an Uhuru tattoo if he does well and I feel safe.
You're going to put a tattoo?
If he performs very well. But if he fails, I'll make sure that you have Uhuru tissue papers.
Ouch.
But I'm going to be there when you're putting that tattoo on.
If he performs very well.
With witnesses here.
I'm challenging him. Fight corruption. Are we finishing? No. Because I have a lot of things to say.
We have exactly 2 minutes. Ngunjiri, you're going to have the first word, and for that, they hacked you real quick. Just explain that real quick, and who was that? And
oh, yes. What happened is that on Monday I wrote an article telling off CORD for trying to justify that Al-Shabaab attacked Kenya because we're in Somalia. And immediately Robert Alai, who blogs for CORD,
my friend Robert,
yes, decided that he's going to go into the archives and get a tweet that was sent out in 2012, 18 November 2012, that has my face on it and the name Ngunjiri Wambugu. Somebody said the only person who can confuse an O and a U. Okay, I'm not going to go there. But somehow somebody picked a parody account and he's been circulating it around social media, saying that I insulted Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto. Now, for me, that's not even the issue. The issue was that to see people like Boniface, Boni Mtetezi circulating the same tweets, and I'm thinking, come on, guys, really, why don't you deal with the issue that I raised? Is CORD justifying that we have been attacked by Al-Shabaab? Al-Shabaab doesn't represent Somalia. They can't be attacking us because we're in KDF, because KDF is in Somalia. This is, Boko Haram is attacking Nigeria. Nigeria is not anywhere. ISIS is not representing anyone. So for me, that was my beef. I think I hit the underbelly. They decided to discredit me.
And at the end of the day, your Twitter handle is still the same, right?
Ngunjiri at Ngunjiri Wambugu. Wambugu doesn't come from me. There's no such name in my part of the country. Wamai.
Hello.
So,
you get the last word.
Yes, the country is mourning, and we mourn the parents. I think the president wrote a letter to some of the parents.
Each and every one of the parents.
Which is commendable, and I think you should just...
Well done, Boniface.
You said something nice.
Well done, you said something nice. Okay, thank you. Well done.
And that's commendable. And you need the same hand that signed that letter to sign more checks for the families. We need compensation. At least we cannot pay for life, but give them something. Some of those parents took loans to take their kids to school. They have to pay back those loans. Have those family just able to adjust and move on. They can never move on, but compensation is key. The second thing the president needs to decide, does he just be a scarecrow president who tries to scare people away and corruption away, and he never scares it away? He needs to be able to come back and say, I'm no longer the scarecrow president, no TV commercial, no hashtags, let's do this, let's work, reach across the divide and work with everyone else to build a better Kenya. We're not enemies of Kenya, we love this country. And then on Tuesday, we have a Garissa Memorial Concert at the Vigil on the 14th. From 4 to 7 p.m. we're going to have a concert, and we're going to have artists, poets, and some of us come to share the experience. The president is invited, the governor is invited, all the countries invited apart from Duale. And then,
Paul is not invited?
No, he's not invited. If you know who killed those kids, don't show your face. We want to be happy with you. The last thing, the governor of the city, Kigaro, we have Uhuru Park, we have that corner vigil there. It's very dark, we don't have lights. The toilets are closed. The space where it's well lit up, guys can go anytime. Security intense. We are ready for any kind of help. And so let the government do that. But overall, before we forget, as we mourn as a country, as we bleed as a country, let's not forget those families. And we are going to launch a website where we are going to name every one of them, and they will never be forgotten, because 147 is just not a number.
Well done, Boniface.
Well done, well done. Considering at the end of the day,
it's nearly impossible to stop a terrorist from attacking. You can manage the situation, you can ensure, you can use informers, as Boni said. But then also, the other thing I must tell Boni is that the process of getting information about terrorists will never be nice. It's a mess that you do when you're making an omelette.
Yeah.
You don't sit in the kitchen, you just see a nice and served egg. That is the thing. This government needs to start making some really bad things happen behind the scenes.
Fight corruption. Fight corruption.
I accept one thing. Not all of us are like Boni. Boni's a nice guy. So we can't have Boni running our intelligence or our security agency.
Yeah.
No.
Listen,
we need a guy, we need a really bad person.
Guy. Listen to what John Minor says. He says, nice discussion, Ngunjiri and Boni, but Boni, I like you better painting pigs.
Okay, let me, last one. Is it possible, because we need to learn from the past and learn our lessons, is it possible for the president to ask for a public inquiry on past terror attacks? We'll be able to help. Public inquiry.
Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
After abusing him all night?
I didn't abuse him. He's my president. I pray for him.
Tattoo?
If he performs, why not?
How many?
I have a shoe. I can put my tattoo here.
Oh!
Yadi Boni is like that. Huh? It's so right.
Boniface Mwangi.
You can't make this up.
No, you cannot make this stuff up. But some good points made tonight. There's just never enough time, especially when you have two young, smart, brilliant gentlemen, Kenyans, talking the way Ngunjiri and Boniface are talking. It's all about us at the end of the day. And yes, we could be angry, we could be a little abusive, we could be a little disrespectful, but we mean well. And we gotta keep talking. Because the moment we stop talking, is the moment we start fighting. Thanks so much for watching. Next week, new week, new show, new topic, new guests. Same place, same time. Keep tuned to Kenya's television network, KTN. Jeff Koinange live. Thanks so much for watching. Good night. Good luck. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.